Let's jump into this right now, man. I'm here watching the NFL draft, right? A lot of y'all know my story, but every time I watch the NFL draft, I get sad, I get mad, I get depressed, I get happy because so many emotions cross my mind. This is not about football, so don't exit this message. But as I'm watching it today, I remember vividly my mother sitting in the room and said, are you sad that your name hasn't been called? And I went through this whole process. I worked my whole life for that moment, and my name never got called. And you might say, Trent, what does that have anything to do with me? Well, it might be something in your life that you're not called for, right? It may be something that you're waiting for, a promotion, they never call your name. Maybe it's somebody you're waiting for never picks you. Maybe it's a dream that's failed, right? Maybe something falls through and you feel like, dang, like why me? And my question to you is this: why not you? In that moment, I made a decision for the rest of my life. And I hope I'm not yelling too loud, but I made a decision for the rest of my life that I'm gonna make sure that I get the most out of my life. I'm gonna make sure I never go through a moment that my name ain't called. At the end of the day, I must be spinning that fire my fan had to turn on. I made up my mind to say, you know what? Even if man don't call my name, I know God got something for my life, and I made a decision to go hard for my life. And so the question I want to ask you right now, the reason I put that sad face, because it breaks my heart that so many of you right now, you threw in the towel. Just because you experienced some failure, you threw in the towel. Just because you experienced some setback, you threw in the towel. Just because things didn't add up the way you wanted them to go, you threw in the towel. Just because somebody did you wrong, you threw in the towel. Just because you had a failed relationship, you threw in the towel. And now you living your life in a way that wasn't meant for you to live. You know, so many of us start to walk a path that wasn't meant for our life because we're choosing to stay there because something went wrong, because a detour happened, because an obstacle happened, because a failure happened. And so many of us right now, we start living in a space of just accepting less. We just accept what the world gives us. We just accept the opinions that people tell us. We just accept the failure that happens to us. And over and over again. And we accept it. And we never fight back. So my question to you right now is, what bridge in your life do you need to burn? I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about that mindset. I'm talking about those habits that keep you in the same place over and over. I made a decision to say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I get the most out of my damn life. Because there's going to come a time when you reach your finish line. And if you got kids, you got anybody around you, you owe it to them to run your race, to live your life, to get the most out of your life, to get the most out of it. But a lot of us, what happens is that we just I expect people to log off of this because every time I speak accountability, people run because people want to live their whole life pointing the finger at everybody else, saying it's everybody else's fault. We live in a society where it's so easy to blame everybody else. I get it. Certain things happen that people did to you, but it's up to you to choose how you respond and how you move your life forward. Period. Certain things might have been unfair that happened to you. It's up to you just to accept it. That can't be the rest of your story for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life to say, oh, this person did this, or the NFL didn't pick me, and that was I said I refuse to make that the rest of my story. Yeah, it's going to be a chapter, it's going to be a part of my story, but you better believe there's going to be a better scene. You better believe there's going to be a better chapter. And I made a decision, but some of us, we accept the chapter that's bad, and we say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to blame and complain the rest of my life, and that's the rest of your story. No more. No more. It is time for you to get freaking committed. It's time for you to get freaking committed to what you want for your life. Committed. I didn't say interested, right? It's the difference. Interested people say, I'm going to see what's going to happen. When you committed, you say, I'm going to make it happen. And some of it you got to, because there's a world full of people depending on you. Whether that's your family, whether that's your kids, whether that's strangers waiting for you to walk into your purpose that need your purpose. Just imagine if I would have said, you know what, I'm done. My life is done at the end of football. Just imagine if I would have did that. I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing today. So that's my challenge to you, man. My challenge is for everybody in here to burn whatever bridge that's keeping you living a limited life. Burn every bridge that's keeping you thinking that you're not great enough. Burn every bridge that's made you feel like you're less. Burn those bridges. And I'm not just talking about people. I'm talking about your habits. I'm talking about that mindset. Because it's time for you to get the most out of your life. And I know, Trent, that's easier said than done. Trent. If you keep living in the but, if you keep saying but, that but's going to control the rest of your life. This world doesn't care about that. I'm going to be real with you. Time still moves on. The sun is still going to rise again. The sun is going to rise tomorrow. People say, Trent, how did you break free from your depression? I realized that the sun ain't going to stop. I realized that the moon ain't going to stop. I realize that the bills ain't gonna stop. I realize that time ain't gonna stop. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna feel what I gotta feel, but I gotta find a way to push on with my life. Or else this is gonna be the rest of my story. And I refused to have my chapter be, I didn't make it in the NFL, so that's my life is over. I refused. Some of us, we surrender to that. We surrender to people's opinions. We surrender to failures. We surrender to setbacks. We surrender to, us losing a job. We surrender to COVID. We surrender to all these things. I know all those things suck and they're hard. And I'm not undermining your struggle one bit. Some of us, we surrender to deaths in our family. And I can speak about that. But I say, you know what? I'm not going to surrender to that, man. I'm going to make those things surrender to me. What I am concerned about is what you do right now with your life and what decision that you're going to make and say, you know what? I'm going to make sure I turn the page and I'm going to make sure that the place that I'm in right now, I'm never going to see that place again. I'm going to progress forward in my life. I'm going to take a step. I'm going to push forward. I'm going to move on. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to endure. Why? Because you're capable to do it. Why? Because there's more to your story than this current chapter you're stuck on. Why? Because there's a higher purpose in your life than the pain that you're currently in. That's why. I believe in you, man. But it's time for you to believe in yourself. And I just had this fired up moment because I was sitting back remembering, man, dang, NFL draft was on right now. I remember my name not being called, and that was the first time in my life where I felt like I wasn't enough. That was the first time in my life where I felt like, dang, my dreams are over. Dang, my life is done. Dang, my life is finished. And obviously, at some point, I decided not to believe that story anymore. And I decided with God's help to write a new one. You are a choice away from a new beginning, and you're a commitment away from a new life. You're a choice away from a new beginning. I mean a real choice. I'm not talking about an interested choice. I'm talking about a committed choice. CC, committed, right? Staying loyal to it. Even when that emotional high wears off, you still stay loyal to it. Even when inconvenience shows up, you still stay loyal to it. Even when haters still show up, you still stay loyal to it. Even when failure shows up, you still stay loyal to it. That's the difference between people. That's it. Some people quit when it gets hard, and some people push harder when it gets hard. That's the difference, guys. And I get it, circumstances might not be, equal and all that other stuff. I understand that. But is that going to be your reason for the rest of your life, man? And with God's help and with you guys' help throughout the journey. But it's a reason why I say it all starts with you. Because it does. It started with me making a decision with my life. It started with me making a decision in my life. A decision not to give up, a decision not to quit. I appreciate y'all. Let's get it.